My dear reader, it's great that you have read this book up to this chapter. A big thank you is in order. Before diving into the chapter proper, it's only logically to dwell on to the relevant points in this chapter. Alright. In essence, this chapter highlights issues of the objections of buyers not having the rights to buy. It could be a lame excuse of the prospect for not to buy from the sales person. Such delay tactics could be a false pretense to show salesperson they are unable to sign off the order. They could even say they are already part of a buying group. Sometimes buyers may utter words like they need to have their boss approvals. In family purchase, prospect may pretend that they need to consult with their significant other first. Make no mistakes, this chapter's preview would be incomplete if no mention is made on how to handle each and every objection stated earlier, and it must include a general way to handle any objections. Finally, in this chapter, it provides the steps to be taken before handling these objections. That said, let's drill deep into the core of this chapter. Shall we? Thanks. Here goes. Chapter 8: Objections of prospect not having authority to buy or make a purchase decision. Quote, "Objections is hurtful only when you do not have enough prospects to sell to." By Chinmaiswamy. He is an award-winning author, international speaker, creator of the Authority Launchpad. Believe it or not, this chapter will lay down the major rule that in all selling situation, the salesperson must try to get in touch with the right person or decision maker. Make no mistakes, you the sales individual can't sell to a person who is not in the decision-making position. In theory, meeting the right buyer, it is confirm whether he is the buyer's himself or you need to identify another person. Alternatively, you can check with the connected person to whom your business contact to reach out the relevant purchaser. Nevertheless, you will still meet buyers who has the following excuses or objection to avoid buying. The first objection could be, "I'm not authorized to sign off on this purchase." When faced with such encounter, it is a no-problem issue. You only have to ask your prospect the name of the right person to speak to, and then redirect your call to them. In the meantime, do get as much information as possible since you'll be talking to them when closing the sale. Ask about the department they work in, how you can reach out to them and their availability. Moreover, confirm again whether they also have to answer to a higher authority. Additionally, you can request your target to give them an overview of your product or service before the meeting. This will make your sales pitch easier. All you'll be left to do is supplement, clarify and build on what they already know. By the way, when you are confronted, here is an example of a rebuttal for you to use when faced with the issue of not having the power to make buying decisions. Hence, the salespeople must ask, "Who is the right person to speak to regarding this purchase? Can you redirect me to them, please?" Trust me, with their answer this may be the start of a selling success. True, jokes aside. Similarly, a second issue could arise when the buyers say, "I'm part of a buying group." In practice, buying groups enable independent companies to team up and make joint purchases from vendors, usually getting a far better price than they'd be able to secure on their own. In reality, if your company isn't on their list of approved suppliers, however, your prospect probably won't be interested. After all, you can't offer them the same discount for purchasing in bulk. Agree or not? The third area of not buying due to the buyer having lack of authority, phrased such as, "I need to run this past my boss." Basically, it means that the person needs to get approval from their boss, manager, supervisor, etc., before continuing. When they say that we need to run it by my boss, typically they expect that the boss will approve, but still need to check with them. Your duty hence is applied the general tactics given below. The fourth areas of prospect in the family buying when one person says that he lacks the approval of one or more parties. In a typical family purchase, the prospects may even say they need to consult with their significant other first. Again, this objection is fairly straightforward. If a prospect really isn't authorized to make the decision, ask to speak to the person who is and start reselling again. If they are, but you will still have to sell your product in the family environment, you can actually help them prepare for likely objections with answers and solutions to smooth out the family buying process. This could involve you to figure out the concerns or objections of the third party and then address them while you still have the original customer with you. On the other hand, try to encourage the prospect to bring their partner along to the store, so you can speak to the spouse directly. Then determine their concerns, and close the sale. In some cases, trying to get the other person on the phone may help, but doing so might make you come across as being pushy or that you're rushing the customer. So to putting it all together on handling possible sales objections and the opportunities to turn them around, you have then to be perfect and practice the general objections technique well. To help you, within these chapter, you'll have the ways and means to help you overcome any objection that might pop up in the future. In truth, the most important thing to realize here is that objections are a natural part of the sales process, not a reflection on your skills as a salesperson. In fact, an objection is the training ground on which you perfect your technique. If you never encounter any, you won't ever really have the chance to become a great salesperson. Furthermore, if you want to fine-tune your objection overcoming capability even further, you have to take the following steps to reach the next level. Honest? Step number 1. Perfect your sales process from start to finish. Sales objections don't arise in a vacuum, and if other parts of the sales conversation are broken, the whole process will break down, objection or not. Step number 2. Practice makes perfect. Practice on the job, in your personal life, and in front of the mirror. Your sales numbers will thank you. Step number 3. Self-awareness is key. Anyone can learn sales and objection scripts, but to employ them with finesse, you'll need empathy and understanding. Don't patronize your leads, and don't recite responses like a robot. Step number 4. Know when to call it quits. Sure, the data tells us that we need to contact a lead multiple times to have a chance at getting through, but there's always a point at which more follow-up is unwise. This isn't always obvious, so pay attention to the signals your prospect is, or isn't, sending. Now we are at the tail end of this chapter regarding objections that the prospect do not have the authority to buy. The entire chapter can be summarized in a neat nutshell. Alright, to recap, this chapter tells us this kind of objections could be a flimsy reason given by the prospect for not buying from the salesperson. Such delay tactics could be a false pretense to show the salesperson they are unable to sign off the order. They could even say they are already a part of a buying group. Sometimes buyers may utter words like they need to have their boss approvals. In the context of a family purchases, the prospect may pretend that they need to consult with their significant other first. By the way, having read this chapter, we must ask ourselves this question: what can we do with this info? My humble advice is to master these tips and techniques well and to apply them when faced with such objections. Are you game? I bet you are. A few parting words from Jason Fried, founder of 37 Signals Business, will serve as a constant reminder to take seriously our selling professions. He says, "There's nothing wrong with staying small. You can do big things with a small team." End of chapter. P.S. Come to think of it, we know if it is a long chapter, yet we want to congratulate you for watching and reading this chapter completely. Additionally, we are eager to know which part of this book's section you learned most. Your feedbacks are critical so that we can help each other to sell more effectively. Lest you forget, these sharing is available in YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course in our author, trainer, and consultant's email, josephsfn@gmail.com, upon your request. Alright, thank you. We hope to meet you in the next chapter. Goodbye and best wishes. Presented by Madam Sophia, virtual presenter, on behalf of author CTM Joseph.